Welcome to the Jeff Crouere YouTube channel. I'm Jeff Crouere. Of course, recently we had another horrible terror attack, this time in Manchester, England. 22 people died, many of them young children. In the aftermath, we had celebrities such as Katy Perry saying we can all just get together, we don't need any borders. Kumbaya. You know what? That is a view that is hopelessly naive. Sadly, it's also shared by the Pope and many others who have criticized Donald Trump, who wants to have a border wall to keep terrorists out of this country. Guess what is around the Vatican? A wall. The president, in his campaign, talked over and over and over again about a border wall. In fact, it was the one thing that the people across the country were most enthusiastic about at his rallies, building the wall. Politicians have talked about it for decades. It's never been done. Our Mexican border is pretty much not secure. You've got fencing for a few hundred miles, but the border is several thousand miles. It's an easy target for terrorists wanting entry into this country. The good news is that in the recent budget, the president has put aside money to start the border wall. This has the support of the American people. This is what we need not only to protect us from terrorists, but also to keep illegals out of the country, to keep drugs out of the country. It's good for our economy, it's good for our national security, and it's good in what we need to be doing in fighting terrorism. So hopefully Congress will now move forward and appropriate money for this border wall so that we can actually start constructing it. And finally, after decades of talking about it, we can see action. And in this way, the wishes of the American people will finally be fulfilled. Because guess what? We need to do the job of the American people, and the American people want border security. They want a wall on the southern border. We've seen it for too many years be wide open. Now we've got a president that is committed to it. We need Congress to follow up with action, and we need to see construction begin. And then the American people can finally see politicians getting the job done and actually doing something that the American people want. I'm Jeff Crouere. Thanks for joining us. And now let's take it to the streets and talk to the people of America about these important issues. In response to the terror attack in Manchester, Katy Perry and other stars said that the answer was to tear down our walls, tear down borders, everybody sort of live together in peace. Can that be done?
That's a wonderful idea. And then, Jeff, I would suggest that Katy tear her walls down first, invite them into their guest home, and let them come stay over there in their neighborhood for about 6 months, and let's interview after that 6-month period.
So what you're saying is it's quite naive.
It's quite naive. I mean, it's a wonderful concept. We'd all love to live in peace and love and harmony. Obviously, our Christian background, we'd love that to happen. But, you know, Jeff, it's just not possible at this time.
Is there anything un-Christian about building a wall and protecting your country?
No, sir. I think that, Jerusalem had gates. And if Jerusalem had gates, and that was our model, I can tell you, I'm all for the big wall. I want a grand one, maybe even with Trump Tower all over, Trump Wall all over it.
In response to the attack that happened in England, pop star Katy Perry said the answer was to tear down borders, tear down walls, everybody just to live in unity together. Do you think that would work?
No, never has, and it won't work. Walls serve purposes for protection, to keep evil out, and to protect what's on the inside. And, as you know, Jeff, I'm a Christian. I just finished reading the book of Nehemiah, and he went down from Babylon to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Why? Because Jerusalem needed to be protected in that era, and our country needs to be protected in this era. Walls serve purposes, and I think it's a good thing that he wants to do this.
In response to the attack that happened, pop star Katy Perry said that we needed to sort of answer by tearing down borders and tearing down walls. Is that the answer, you think?
Not at all. Not at all, Jeff. We have to secure our borders and keep these people out that want to do us harm. It's absolutely critical. And I'm in the construction business. I'm willing to go help build that wall. If they need some help, I'll volunteer some time.
The reason we're having these problems is because we're already living in a borderless society. You know, Europe, they don't have any borders. They're getting millions of Muslims are being ushered into Europe, and we're seeing the same policies here. And you know, none of these cultures are really jamming together, and we're being forced. You know, this is forced integration, and immigration is not working. So we need more walls.
We had the recent attack in Manchester, and after that, pop star Katy Perry talked about the answer is to go borderless worldwide, to tear down the walls, people living together in peace and harmony. Is that a practical solution?
Not under the current economic system, it isn't. The system we have divides people automatically. It induces division. You'd have to remake the economic map. You'd have to remake certain political things and restructure things to make harmony more possible. To simply decree it or call for it is an impractical and unachievable approach under the current economic system.
President Trump is trying to get funded and to get constructed a border wall facing a lot of opposition. Do you think a border wall can and should be constructed?
There are some practical things. I'm from South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, where many of the people come over the border illegally. More of them are Central Americans than they are Mexicans. One of the best things Trump could do is get Mexico to enforce the security of its southern border with El Salvador, Belize, and Guatemala. That's where the real wall, quote unquote, should be built. With the wall, yes, you could convert fence sections into walls. It's mostly a fence. You could build a wall all the way across our southern border. It's going to cost a lot of money. Which side of the river do you put it on? Exactly how do you do it? There's land rights, there's right-of-way issues, eminent domain. I think it's a combination of the wall and technology and a better system for processing people who need to be deported, maybe criminals. A wall ultimately could happen. It's going to take a long time. A lot of the other measures can be done in the meantime while they work on the wall to the best extent possible.
Thank you for watching the Jeff Crouere YouTube channel. I want you to subscribe, so please do so, and also opt in to receive notifications so that every time we have a new show, you'll be notified.